Hey there, this is Anna from Heart Made Whole. If you're watching this, you probably either have already purchased a decal or you're wanting to purchase a decal from my shop to decorate your graduation cap. And in this video, I'll be showing you step by step on how to apply it. So this is what a white decal looks like. The light blue paper is the backing. This clear sheet on top is the transfer tape. The transfer tape basically allows us to pick up the entire design and place it onto our graduation cap. Now, when you're selecting the color that you want for your decal, make sure you know what color your cap is. So because my cap right here is black, I went ahead and did a white decal. You can choose pretty much any color, but you'll probably want to have some contrast between your cap and your decal because essentially your cap color is going to be the background color to your design. So when you first get your decal in the mail, it might be a little bit wrinkly. I don't know if you can see that the tape isn't completely flat. It's totally normal. What you're going to do is you're going to get your gift card or whatever card you're deciding to use. Just in case it breaks, maybe don't use an actual credit card, but any bendy straight edge should work. You want to just gently but firmly rub the tape flat. I always go towards me. You don't really want to push outwards because you might get caught on the edges of the decal. I like to go from the center outwards. I'm putting a good amount of pressure on it, but not super hard either, just because you don't want to mess up the actual vinyl. All right, now that the tape's pretty flat, now we can move on. It's totally okay if there's a few air bubbles. It's not a big deal at all. You just want the tape flat enough on there to pick up the whole decal. Now we're going to start by slowly lifting up any edge, and you want to see that the entire decal is getting picked up, and it looks like it is. So go slow, make sure the tape is picking the entire design up. If for some reason it's not getting picked up, like you lift and a part of the letter stays, just set it back down, rub it a little more with your card, then you peek, make sure it's lifting up. I think we're going to be good. Okay. Now the adhesive to the decal is exposed, so you want to make sure that you don't have a lot of dust flying around. Don't set anything on top of it, of course. You also don't really want to touch the back of the letters because you want the adhesive to just stay really strong, and your natural hand oils might kind of mess that up. So I'm going to set off to the side here. When you go to grab your cap, the first thing you want to do is make sure that you're putting it in the correct orientation. Flip your cap around to the back side. You might have something written across the middle here that says top and bottom, or you might not. Usually there's going to be an elastic in the back, so we want to find the top corner. Right here, this is what goes on your forehead. You want to get the forehead pointing up, then flip the cap around. So this is going to be the top of your cap. We want to make sure that the decal faces the correct way so everyone can read it when it's on your head. Then you just kind of want to smooth it out. I would actually suggest doing all of this before you peel up your decal like I just did. Make sure that there's not too much dust or any little pieces of debris on there. And as you might be able to see, this cap's button isn't directly in the center of the diamond shape, and that's okay. I usually make the decals a little bit smaller, just so that if the button's not perfectly in the center, which is pretty common, you're not having the design fall off of the diamond shape. Now that we have our cap facing the right way, we have it smoothed out, not too many wrinkles, not too much dust, we can go back and grab our decal. So now, ideally, is the time you'd want to peel the decal like I just showed you. Try not to touch, the actual decal, only the tape if you can. The adhesive is pretty resilient, but just do your best. And then I want to place this through the buttonhole. You'll have some leniency to move the design around. Don't flatten it out right away. You just make sure you have the overall design as centered on the cap as you can. You don't have to have the hole perfectly in the center of the button. If your button happens to be off center, just move it around. You'll have a little bit of wiggle room. It's not going to be stuck down immediately. You can mess with it a tiny bit. Of course, yeah, don't try to move it too much so it doesn't pick up a bunch of lint or anything like that. All right, I think I have it where I want it. And then with my hand, I'm just going to kind of gently press down a bit. Now you want your handy dandy card, and I always go center outwards. And I'm using pretty firm pressure. Since your cap is made of cardboard, you don't want to bend your cap, but you do want to apply really firm pressure. Again, I'm pulling the card towards me. I'm not pushing the card out just so it doesn't snag on one of these edges. Pull it towards you, make sure you're applying a good amount of pressure. This does take a little while, so maybe you don't do it an hour before your graduation. Hopefully you're watching this video before that. So now we've pretty much flattened it all out. Now we kind of do the same process as when we peeled it off of the paper. You want to start from any of the corners and pretty much start peeling. And we can see here it's not really sticking. See how it's staying on the transfer tape instead of sticking to the cap? This is really common. It just means that we need a lot more pressure than we applied. So go back, rub the card in small sections over and over again. Now let's try it again. Pull the tape straight back. Still not sticking to the cap, so we need more pressure. Make sure you peel the tape back onto itself straight back. If you lift up vertically, it's more likely that it's not going to want to stay stuck to the cap. And certain fabrics are easier to work with than others, but a trick I really like to do is pull the tape back and kind of wrap it around the gift card you're using, and then start pulling the tape back like this. You can see the card is kind of helping to pry the decal off of the tape. Let's see, so the W stayed, these stayed, but see, this didn't stay all the way. So that's why we really want to go slow just to make sure we don't rip anything. If you peel up too fast, you might end up ripping the decal because part of the decal is going to be stuck on the cap and part of the decal is going to be stuck on the tape. See how I have the card almost flat? You do not want to hold it perpendicular. You can even use your thumb. So, it definitely takes a little bit of time and patience. See here, we have to be very careful with that. Make sure we're not going to rip that word. The flowers stayed pretty well. I'm going to use the card there. Almost lost the I. Keep in mind you still don't want to touch the back of the decal. Just kind of pry it off with the card, and then you can use your finger if you need it to help it calm down, but the card should be enough. Almost done. Let's see. If you don't want to use a card, or if you, I don't know, feel like it's not working for you, just pull the tape back like this. Pull it straight back. Either way will work. You just don't want to pull it straight up vertically. If you're just going slow like this, it's going to work totally fine. Oh, I lost the little star here. And if this ever happens, you can always cut the decal. So if you want to place a part of the design somewhere else, you can always, before you peel it off the backing tape, just cut it and then place everything separately. I always want to make that clear. It's pretty customizable. So if you want to remove any element, like if I didn't want this star right here, one, I can just remove it. But before that, I can cut it out and, maybe move it off to the side a little bit more. Whatever you want to do. If you're ever left with a little design piece, that's totally fine. Just set it down. And then the same thing, we kind of just want to flatten the tape back. Perfect. And that's pretty much it. The final step is gently using your fingers to press down the decal, especially if there's any spots you see that are lifting up. This is a permanent adhesive, so it should not go anywhere after the adhesive cures in about 24 hours. I personally graduated in 2017 and my cap is still perfect. There's not even a part of my design that's even slightly peeling, and it's waterproof. So, yeah, just try to do it well and it's gonna last you forever. Okay, I don't think there's anything lifting up. And there you go. That's the finished decal on a graduation cap. It does take a few minutes. I think it's worth it. It looks super cute. Oh, and make sure you're not putting the decal this way, lined up with the edges like a square. You want to make sure it's like the corners are north, east, west, south. Don't put it on sideways like a square. That's a really common mistake I've seen some people do as well that I should have mentioned earlier. So yeah, that's it. That's how you apply decal. And you can always send me a message if you have any questions. Happy graduating.